deep breath, and we'll get into it. All right. Hello, everyone. We have Kris from Nutriante here. We are so excited about this conversation. We're going to talk about medicinal mushrooms and the benefits of them. I know for a lot of us, we don't know, at least for myself, we don't know a lot about medicinal mushrooms and the benefits of them and how to incorporate them in our everyday life and why we should. So, Kris, thank you for speaking with us today. And we're so excited for this conversation as you educate us in this realm.
Hi, Jasmine and Michaela. I'm super excited to be talking with you about medicinal mushrooms. Yes. It's a topic that I'm really passionate about. And I'm the co-founder of Nutriante. And we've been doing this for about 1.5 years. And you're right that medicinal mushrooms have so many uses, and people are just only starting to discover and take advantage of them. It's a business that we do with one of my friends, and who I've known for a long time. And it actually started before we even started Nutriante. We did a business venture together, and it was about it wasn't related at all to health. It was about drop shipping, buying stuff from one country and shipping it to another one. But it didn't give us a real purpose. So it only lasted for so long, and the excitement was over. So we were looking for something else, something that would give us a real purpose in life. And figured that health is a really important topic for most of us. And we saw people struggling around us with chronic disease, with cancer, with heart disease, with diabetes. And we saw an opportunity to help them. So that's the kind of story.
I love that. And I know, so if I'm looking at your site and everything, there's, I guess all mushrooms are medicinal, whether it's the mushrooms that we usually cook with, like portobellos or shiitake, or even like little button mushrooms. But in this realm, I mean, there's so many more. How many different varieties of mushrooms have you guys kind of found and are working with right now?
There are, say, 7 main medicinal mushrooms that are the most researched and the most popular. And yeah, you're actually right that all the mushrooms have some kind of medicinal value, but these 7 are the most powerful ones. Yeah. And actually, we are interested in 5 different mushrooms at Nutriante, which we plan to bring to the marketplace. And currently we have just 1, but we already have plans to bring more.
And I have a question. Which is that one that you guys are selling now, and what are the benefits of it?
Right now we have lion's mane mushroom extract, which is by far my favorite one. And it's called the brain mushroom because it helps increase, improve focus and memory and lift mood. And it has shown to increase cognitive function, especially in elderly people. People with dementia and Alzheimer's have improved their cognitive function. And but people with any age can benefit from it, really. And right now it's in a pure extract form, but we're planning to release a capsules form too for really convenient use for people who travel a lot, and they can take it on the go.
So could you put that in like your coffee or your water and stir it up and drink it that way? Or in even your food?
Yeah, it has a really good solubility. You can add it to any beverage like tea, coffee, or smoothies or shakes or soups. It's one of the properties of a good quality mushroom extract that it's dissolving really well in liquids.
And I can be a testament to that. I've actually taken it, and that's actually how Kris and I met. But it's the one thing that turned me onto it was the cognitive enhancements that it has, because in my family, there's been a family history of Alzheimer's and dementia. And because my great uncle was diagnosed with it years and years ago, and he just passed away this year, and same with my grandfather. And ever since I heard their diagnosis, I always told myself, I'm not going to go down that path. That is not what I want my life to end up like. I'm going to take care of myself. And when I heard about this, I was set. I was like, all right, here we go. Let's take it. And I've been telling my cousins about it and the rest of my family. And it honestly is incredible. And I just usually make a tea out of it. It's more on the savory side. So I've been interested to try it in a soup recipe. So I might have to do that. But, and it might be just me. I'm just very sensitive and in tune with my body. And I think I notice the effects a lot quicker than a lot of people, but it really does what it says. I mean, I drank it, and later that night I taught a yoga class, and I felt so focused, and I felt like I could speak more clearly. My thoughts were more clear. I was able to articulate what I wanted to happen, and I felt more energized. And it wasn't like an energy that you would get from coffee. It wasn't like, oh my God, like energized, like buzzing, my body's vibrating, like I can't settle down. It was just more of like an alertness. It was more of an awareness to what was going on. And it just made me feel good. And plus I could sleep that night too. Like if you drink a cup of coffee later in the day, chances are your sleep is going to be messed up, but not with this stuff. I mean, it is incredible. So I highly, highly, highly recommend it.
Yeah, it's something that I've noticed that healthy people actually notice the benefits much quicker because they absorb the nutrients much better. And yeah, that's cool.
I love that. And gosh, I just want to point out, I love this conversation because I know a lot of our listeners don't really know about medicinal mushrooms. They think of mushrooms as maybe the psychedelic or something like that. And so please check this out, especially, I know I am, because I know as far as everyone, we're hooked to coffee and all these things, and we put additives in our coffee to, you know, wake us up and give us that boost. But if you can find that naturally and holistically, go for it.
Mm-hmm. And without the crash either, there's no crash. It just overall elevates like your physical well-being, your mental and your spiritual. I mean, I just try it, see for yourself, and you'll see the results, I promise.
And I'm curious about the other medications, the mushrooms as well. Could you share a little bit about the other medicinal mushrooms that you are going to be incorporating into Nutriante in the near future?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the most popular ones is reishi, and it's called the mushroom of immortality. It has a really long history, and it's dating back to 2,000 years or more. And it's sometimes called as nature's Xanax. And it has really powerful immunity boosting properties, and it has shown to help in weight loss, and it has anti-cancer properties. And I have to say a disclaimer that there are more than 200 types of cancer out there, so it may help against certain types of cancer, but for some it's ineffective. So, but it's worth trying anyway. And I gotta tell you a little secret that one of the main reasons why I take mushroom extracts every day is that I'm afraid of cancer, really, because both of my grandmas died of cancer, and I don't want to have the same fate. And it's a terrible disease. And I truly believe that mushroom extracts are really effective against preventing cancer cells from growing. Yeah. And some other.
Oh, sorry. I'll let you go first, and then I have one point.
Okay. Some other benefits that reishi can help with is it can help with sleep and anxiety, and improve symptoms of depression, and improve focus. Yeah.
I think it's also important to highlight what you said about preventing things. That we have so much power to heal our bodies, and although there are certain diseases, as you mentioned, Kris, that may not be healed or have any effect when we take these holistic approaches to life, we do have so much power in working on our bodies now to avoid certain things. Especially when it comes to like cancers and Alzheimer's. And so I think it's very important that we get to know our bodies now while we're young or thriving, or just thriving and healthy, so we can avoid those things. I highly encourage our listeners to, on a random note, take like a DNA test, take maybe a poop test to see what works for you, so you can avoid those things.
Can you repeat that? You were going out.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Just do just go from like avoiding the diseases and then.
Okay. And there's so much power that we have within us to avoid certain diseases. Disclaimer, as Kris mentioned, we may not be able to do so with certain ones, but we do have the power to heal our bodies holistically. So take time to research and learn what works for you, and take holistic supplements such as medicinal mushrooms and vitamins and things like that, so you don't have to resort to taking everything from that Western medicine aspect.
Yeah, that's absolutely. I'm absolutely agreed to you. Our bodies have so much knowledge about themselves, and we should be more intuitive about what we eat and what we do. One of the reasons why we started bringing mushroom extracts to the market was that when we made research about them, we discovered that about 80% of mushroom extracts are actually fake or really low quality. And what the companies do, that to reduce costs, they use some shady tactics. For example, if you need to grow a mushroom, then you need mushroom mycelium. It's like mushroom roots, and they grow mushroom mycelium on grain or oats or rice. And what the companies figured that when they grow the mycelium on grain, they won't let the actual mushroom to grow, but they will just grind up the mass and put it in a package and sell it as a mushroom product. And these kinds of products, these kinds of products contain really low amounts of beneficial compounds, if any at all. So we're actually fighting against them. And it's a matter of educating customers about this.
Yeah, so with that, if they're grown, and my mind goes to, grains and just the pesticides and all those different things that are on that plant, is it for those companies that are selling that low quality product, do you think it brings more harm or damage to the people's bodies that are consuming that product?
Not really, because almost all of them are actually organic. So it's tricky, but organic doesn't mean healthy. It just means that it follows some kind of criteria, and it doesn't contain pesticides and heavy metals and so on. But they contain mostly starch in the end product. So they won't let the mushroom fruiting body form. I mean, the actual mushroom.
Yeah.
Because the mushroom is actually where the most beneficial compounds are, but they just skip the process and sell grain essentially for really high price.
So, a quick question. So when looking for these products, you should honestly just go straight to Nutriante, guys, just so you can you don't have to worry about this. But are there certain, when you look at the ingredients, are there certain things you should look at to see if your product is actually mushrooms or lots of fillers?
It can be really tricky. And at the beginning, it took me a few months to just really understand how to identify good quality products. But there are several ways you can look for it. And one of them is if it has beta-glucans content listed on the package. Um, Generally, you should have more than 25% of beta-glucans in a mushroom extract. And it depends on the mushroom. For example, chaga may have only 15 to 20%. Lion's mane should have over 25%. And also for reishi, it should be 25-30% or more. And turkey tail is up to 40% of beta-glucans. If the package doesn't say anything about beta-glucans, it's highly likely that it has a really low amount, because who wouldn't want to say that they have this kind of amount if they actually have it? It's a good marketing. And another way is to see if it has fruiting bodies in it. And good quality mushroom extracts are made of fruiting bodies. And like I mentioned before, dishonest companies sell myceliated grain, which is mostly grain and some mushroom mycelium, and oftentimes no fruiting body at all. And usually you should want to have a double extracted mushroom extract. There are two types. One is a single extract, which uses only hot water extraction method. But the downside is that some of the compounds are not water soluble. So you would need alcohol as a second step to get out the beneficial compounds. But in the end product, there's no alcohol left, so you don't have to worry about that. And also, low quality products often have other ingredients, a section where they list grain or rice. If there's grain or rice in it, then it's highly likely again that it's not worth buying and it's a waste of money. And also they use wordings like full spectrum or mycelial biomass. Full spectrum means that it contains each life cycle of a mushroom, but it also contains unnecessary ingredients.
The more you know. I'm thinking I've actually purchased things that said full spectrum because I guess it's like a jazz word where it sounds like there's a lot of good stuff going on, and in reality there's not. So thank you for sharing that. I didn't know that, and I'm like, oh, the more you know.
Pleasure is mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really have to be careful about products, especially when, you know, people are so willing and wanting to get healthy. They automatically see those things. And I guess, I mean, people in those marketing industries are like, okay, like what are like the jazz words we can use? How can we bring those people's attention? How can we make money when that's not what it's all about? It's about the quality product, you know, the actual healing of the body, which is why I love your company so much and the product that you have. And I'm excited for the other products that you're going to have, because is there a waiting list so I can be like, all right, what's next? Can I order it? Because that stuff, I mean, and you showed the bag and it is a small bag, but that stuff lasts because you don't need very much too. I think a lot of people assume that, oh, it's a really small bag, it's not going to be worth it, but a little bit goes a long way. And would you say that for the other mushrooms as well, you only really need like smaller quantities?
Yeah, we usually recommend about half a teaspoon or about 2 grams of mushroom extract each day, preferably in the morning. If you want to just go over the limit, you can take about 4 grams a day if you have some kind of more serious issue and you want to supercharge everything, then you can take like 2 grams in the morning and 2 grams in the evening. Our competitors recommend 1 gram per day, but I think it's not optimal. We found that 2 grams is an amount that actually brings out the benefits. And an interesting fact is that to make 1 unit of mushroom extract, you need 8 units of dried mushrooms. So when you compare the pricing, then mushroom powder is cheaper than mushroom extract, but not by that much. But it should actually be 8 times cheaper than a mushroom extract. So when you buy just the powder, then you really don't get many benefits at all. But I've seen that actually people start to understand it more and more, because some of our competitors and ourselves are educating people and producing content around this. We don't want people to buy useless products. And we've actually had customers come to us and say that they've tried several other brands of Lion's Mane over the years, and they haven't worked. They were like really excited about Lion's Mane, but they almost didn't believe it worked. And when they tried ours, then they wrote us an email or a message saying that, wow, the stuff really works. How did you do that? And I basically tell them the same story, and they're looking at the package, and yeah, it says mycelial biomass or something similar. That it doesn't work.
I love that though, and especially I feel we have to start investing in ourselves. So sometimes things might be a little bit pricier than you would want it to be, but if you can use a little amount of the medicinal mushrooms, that all the proof is in the pudding there versus taking all these pills for energy and focus and clarity. If you can make a tea, why wouldn't you? So I'm also extremely excited for the new products. I'm also going to get what you have now because I'm a coffee fiend. But that crash is just not worth it sometimes. So you have to cut back from that. But yeah, that's awesome. I didn't know you could use that little for all day.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, nature is really powerful. When I started taking Lion's Mane the first time, then I was in a quite a difficult situation in my life. I have a 3-year-old daughter, and she has special needs, if you know what I mean. And I was really stressed out about it. And my productivity is like almost zero. I just sat behind the computer, and I was unable to do anything because I think I had some kind of short circuit in my brain. I was just worrying about my problems, and I couldn't do anything. And at the same time, I just wanted to move on with my life and be productive and do something and get over it. So I was looking for a solution, and I already know chaga by that time, and we discovered other medicinal mushrooms. And when we found out about Lion's Mane, then I was hooked. And so we ordered a few packages with my friend, and we started trying out. And I wouldn't say that the effects came immediately, because I actually wasn't, I didn't know how to look for his benefits. So it just came all of a sudden when I realized that something has changed. So I called my friend and asked, how does it work out for you? Does it do anything? Is it useful at all? He said, like, yeah, I think it does something. And I was thinking the same, that it actually has some kind of benefits. And my brain fog was reduced. And before that, I used to drink 3-4 coffees by lunchtime sometimes, hoping that it would help, but it didn't. So I started drinking less coffee, and I took lion's mane every day. And my mind went more clear, and I was able to focus on one task better. And yeah, it helped me really a lot.
Thank you for sharing that. Especially, we love when our speakers are vulnerable. So we're honored that you shared that story. And I'm thinking about, there's so many of us, especially in the United States and Western culture, where we think brain fog and having these crashes are normal. We think that feeling heavy and all these other ailments are, it's just a part of getting older, when we are going to receive those things as we get older, but they're not meant to, that's not how life is supposed to be. So I love that you shared your story, just to, enhance our listeners to know that we can proactively make our lives easier. We don't have to have brain fog. You don't have to have 3 to 4 cups of coffee to function. Um, you can get clarity with things, especially holistic things. So, thank you again for sharing that story.
Thank you for all the support. So there are some more mushrooms. Would you like to know about them?
Heck yeah.
One of the main ones is cordyceps, and it's called the performance mushroom. And what it does, it has over 400 species, but the most famous ones are Cordyceps sinensis and Cordyceps militaris. And but the Cordyceps sinensis is really rare. It only grows in the Himalayan mountains in the high altitude in Tibet, and you can harvest it about 3 months a year, and it's super expensive. Can you take a guess how much 1 pound of Cordyceps sinensis extract costs?
Is it over $100?
Yeah, much more than that.
It makes sense though, because if you can only get it 3 times a year and you have to go to the Himalayan mountains.
Is it more than 500?
Yeah, it's more.
Is it more than 1,000?
Yeah, it's more.
Oh my God.
It actually
5,000?
double it, and you're correct.
Who gets
10,000?
It costs about $10,000 per pound. But the reason is that it didn't used to cost that much, but in the last decade, the demand went really through the roof. And so many locals are harvesting it, and it's a really good source of income for them. But it also means that there's less and less of it each year. But luckily, we have Cordyceps militaris, which is really similar in the way it functions and what kind of benefits it has. And it can be grown commercially in good conditions. And it doesn't cost that much. It's much more affordable. So it doesn't really make sense to spend that money on Cordyceps sinensis, because the benefits are quite similar. And it's mostly used by people who work out, like athletes. And what it does, it helps the body produce the molecule adenosine triphosphate, which helps deliver energy to the muscles, and it can help the body increase oxygen consumption during exercise. And it has been used by older people as a way to increase their libido, for example, and reduce fatigue and boost strength. Another cool thing is that it's really beneficial for the heart. It's used to treat arrhythmia. It's a condition where your heartbeat is too low or too high or irregular. And in China, it's actually a official treatment for heart problems.
That sounds a hell of a lot better than the medications and other things. And one thing that kind of popped up into my mind when you said athletes, could this be something that could be used before a workout? Because I know in America, we're obsessed with the pre-workouts, and I don't even know what the ingredients are in these little packets, but sometimes they're these randomly brightly colored powders, and that freaks me out because I'm like, where's that color coming from? But I also don't know what the ingredients are. So could that be a better alternative before your workout to give you more energy and help with that muscle recovery afterwards?
Yeah, absolutely, because it can help improve exercise performance, improve oxygen consumption, and it helps the body recover faster after strenuous exercise. I'm not really familiar with the other pre-workouts because I've never taken them, but I think that it can be an alternative.
I would highly recommend using the alternative. I've only had pre-workout 2 times in my life, and I don't understand how people are able to consume it and on a daily basis. It's so extreme, especially if you're not used to something like that. Um, but I had a quick question. What's a mushroom you recommend for just like the everyday person that wants to have that optimal health?
In this case, I would recommend a mushroom mix.
Mm.
And I actually take a mushroom mix myself, and it contains reishi, lion's mane, cordyceps, and turkey tail. And when I started taking one, I immediately wanted to take everything because they all have some kind of different benefits. Overall, yeah, mushroom mixes are really popular, and it's something that we plan to develop and bring to the marketplace. And we already have it made, but we're not ready to launch it yet. It will come soon, but I can't promise the date.
We'll be waiting.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Wow. I'm still just processing how much that price of that other mushroom is. But it just shows that there's so many like healthy, holistic medicinal practices out there other than these, like Michaela said, these brightly colored products that give you a heart attack within 5 minutes or something. Um, wow. Are there any other, I know you said there were 7 of them. Are there any other mushrooms that you would like to highlight?
Lion's mane is my favorite, like I mentioned, but one of the more famous ones is chaga. And chaga will always have a special place in my heart because it grows around my home place. It grows on birch trees in northern hemisphere in colder climate. And I actually go to harvest chaga each year. And now is actually the best time to harvest it. From November to January, it's the most potent because it prepares for the winter and then it concentrates the beneficial compounds to survive the winter. And it's a really slow growing mushroom. It can grow to 50 years or older, and it can grow really big. It's like can grow up to 30 or 40 pounds when the birch tree is vibrant and big. What's special about it is that it has the highest antioxidant content of any food, and it's really beneficial for the skin because it contains an antioxidant called melanin, and it's a pigment that our bodies produce naturally. But if you supplement with chaga, then you can improve your skin and how it looks and the overall health of it. It's also unique because it doesn't create fruiting body as long as it's alive. only when the tree is dead, for example, it falls down during a storm, only after that it will start producing fruiting body and spores in the hopes of spreading to trees nearby.
It's so beautiful too, like thinking about how nature is able to produce these things. Wow, yeah.
We live in a symbiotic relationship with nature, and that's something that modern lifestyle doesn't want to admit. We live in our own cubes with 4 walls and the ceiling and the floor, and we just eat stuff from the package. But if you just walk into the forest, you'll find all kind of superfoods.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, chaga also contains betulin and betulinic acid, which has shown to inhibit tumor growth. And I know people who have healed their cancer with chaga. I can't confirm it because maybe there was something else, but they took it and they got rid of cancer.
That reminds me of the documentary Heal that Michaela told us to watch a couple episodes back. And it's true though, there was a woman, Michaela, correct me if I'm wrong, there was a woman that she was speaking on her story about cancer. She had so many tumors, and after she came back, she started, or after she was able to, before she went into remission, she practiced, a lot of meditation. I think she even mentioned medicinal mushrooms and a bunch of other holistic practices, and has been in remission since they filmed this, which I don't know if it was like a year or two ago, but there's, again, that's like the biggest theme of this episode is learning that we are in a symbiotic relationship with nature, and utilizing that, because it is possible to heal yourself naturally. It's not impossible. These, manufactured products can do it. Why don't you think that nature can? It may take a little bit longer, and we want this instant gratification of, I want to take this pill now and I want to be hyper and get everything done. But there's always a process to everything, especially with our bodies.
And we also have to remember that, our ancestors before us, they didn't have the technology that we do now. Like, they actually went out into the woods and into these natural places, and that's where they found their food. That's where they found their medicine. That's how they survived for hundreds of thousands of years. And today we're sicker and sicker because we take these prescription pills, and it's basically like a band-aid. We're only covering the symptom. We're not actually getting to the root of the problem. But to get to the root of that problem, we need to use what nature is giving us. There's so much out there, and there's so much that we're still learning. Like, I've already learned so much more about mushrooms. I mean, I knew a little bit before, but now I'm even more excited, and there's so many things to uncover. And even if it does take a little bit more time, it just means that, the medicines that we're deciding to eat and the food that we're deciding to eat is actually taking care of the illness at its source and getting rid of it. So then after it's gone, you don't ever have to deal with it again. So I think that's something that we need to remember is, okay, do we want that short-term product that's actually going to make us sicker and weaker in the long run? Or do you want to take that little bit of extra time in order to actually heal and then not have to deal with it again?
Agreed.
Yeah, the pharmacy companies work with the science of diseases, whereas medicinal mushrooms work with science of health. That's the difference. And it's one of the things that we started thinking as soon as we discovered medicinal mushrooms was that how do so few people know about them, and how can we spread the word so that more people would benefit from them. And as we saw that it's not a really mature market in the Western world, because most of our competitors are 5 years or younger, and The first time when medicinal mushrooms were imported to the United States was at the beginning of 1990s, but in really small quantities. Whereas in Asia, they have been used for several thousands of years.
That's so interesting too. 1990, I mean, that's still only 30 years ago. That's not that far away when you really think about it either. So, I don't, and I think another thing, for instance, I'll share my story really quickly as I'm healing my own body because I was raised off of, Tums and all these things to help mask the problem of, digestive issues. But it wasn't until this year where I really started looking into holistic practices. And again, it did take a lot longer to heal, but even then, when I think about it, I wasn't really healing when I was taking all these over the counter pills. I was just masking the problem, as Michaela said. But I didn't really feel truly better until I started looking into these things like medicinal mushrooms and herbs and adding certain things to the food to eat and eating cleaner. So I highly encourage anyone that's, especially if you're going through a chronic illness, look into Nutriante, excuse me, um, because it's way more effective than masking that problem. Work with your body instead of against it.
Thanks for your recommendation.
Of course, what Michaela and I are here for, and um, Michaela's also taught me so much about healing our bodies from within. But there's so much truth to it. I feel like now I'm on a soapbox about this. Please look into it.
The name Nutriante is derived from Latin words. It's derived from nutritium, which means nutrition, and it means that we use the nutrition that our ancestors have used for hundreds of thousands of years, and anti means before. So it's nutrition that was before us. So we just continue on with the tradition, and we don't have to invent the wheel, so to speak. And we don't have to synthesize anything because nature has done it for us already. And the cool thing about fungi or mushrooms is that they are the oldest organism in the world. The earliest signs of fungi is about 2.4 billion years ago. So over that time, they've had they've been able to evolve and protect themselves from different viruses and bacteria and disease. And if we eat them, then we will experience similar benefits.
Just goes to show Mother Nature knows what she's doing. Don't turn your back. There's just so many amazing things. And with the mushrooms, I know that with the lion's mane product you have, it's in the powder form in the bag, and you said that you're going to come out with capsules. Is there any other way that we can ingest these medicinal mushrooms, or are those kind of like the main ways to take them?
Yeah, these are the main ways. Actually, you can hold lion's mane in your mouth for a while if you want it to absorb really well. If you're not if you don't have anything about the taste, how would you say that? How's the taste of lion's mane extract?
Honestly, at first I was a little bit nervous because when I opened the bag, I got some powder on my finger and I licked it off, and it was really strong. But now that I've just continually been taking it, I mean, I'm not bothered by it. But I will say for the people who probably are going to try it, and if you haven't done anything like this before, it is a stronger taste. It's more of a savory flavor, maybe more like umami. But I've been actually comparing it to, so anyone who's been to like a Japanese steakhouse restaurant, they always have this mushroom broth that they serve before the meal. And I've always compared it to that taste. So if you like that, you're probably gonna love it. If not, you just keep trying it, plug your nose and keep trying it, because the benefits are so much more amazing, so that you can just get over the taste. If you don't like it, just suck it up and do it.
That's not bad though, but I think we're also so used to these like vibrant colored, extremely added like flavored foods I don't even think with Western culture we know what food really should taste like when you get back to basics.
Yeah.
So, on a random note, one of my friends, she is healing from COVID and she couldn't taste or eat anything for a couple weeks. And she's like, everything I taste now, if it has additives in it, makes me sick to my stomach. I guess, and we were talking about, maybe we have this theory of, maybe your taste buds and everything just reset. She's like, the smell, like even smelling soda, like not even tasting it makes her nauseous. She has to drink like water and herbal teas now and all these things. She doesn't want burgers anymore. She wants like salads and things like that. So I think over here, we're so used to crap. If we had something good, we would have to get acclimated to it.
Yeah. And I will say that it is a beautiful color. Like you said, like we're so used to having the additives in the colors, but if you look at nature, there's color all around. And the deeper the colors, the more like nutrients and antioxidants. And it's this beautiful gold color. It's incredible. And honestly, like if you probably were to like pour it out, you'd probably be like, oh, like this is totally fake. That color isn't real, but it is, and it's gorgeous. So those bright colors can come from nature, and it just means that it's just better for you. So go with it, give it some time, give it a few tries, you'll get acclimated, and I promise it's going to make a world of difference.
You just add it with warm water and drink it as like a
I
bottle.
do. Yeah, I just make it into a tea. I really want to try to put it into like some kind of soup. So that's my next adventure with it.
I'm so excited for you.
My favorite way to take lion's mane is I put it in my morning smoothie. So it gives me the extra boost for the day.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah.
I like how versatile it is. It's not just, okay, here's this, you have to use it one way. You can utilize it in so many different ways. So like if you are a bit sensitive to the taste at first, you can kind of mask it with a smoothie or maybe in a soup or something. Or if you're just more adventurous like I am, just try it with the hot water and drink it. So there's more than one way. And I think it speaks more volumes because again, like with the pharmaceutical companies and everything, it's okay, here's this pill, you have to do it at this time, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't reflect what our bodies need at a given time. Where when we have these natural products, we are able to have more control and say, okay, I know that my body needs that at this time. I'm going to utilize this as a broth or a tea or a smoothie in the morning. So that way I know that I can use this. And then maybe later on, you're like, you know what? My body needs that again, and I can do it again, maybe in the same form as you did it before or something different. So I really love how versatile it is and how we can adapt it to our own lives and our own routines.
Yeah, I tend to agree that the taste of mushrooms is a bit love or hate situation, where some people say it's the best thing in the world and the others don't like it. But the good thing about lion's mane is that it's actually a really prized culinary dish as it's in its fruit body form. And if you ever have a chance, then try it out. It's really good when you fry it and add it to different foods. And also, if you want to get benefits out of anything, then the consistency is key. So for me, having it in a morning smoothie works really well because then I won't forget about it, and I take it at the same time every day, so I don't have to really think about it.
Yeah.
That's smart. That's really smart.
Guaranteed results.
You heard it here. Guaranteed, guys. Let's do this.
Yes, I love that.
Do you have any other questions?
Yeah, actually, at the end of our episodes, we love to have 3 takeaways to give our audience. So what are 3 takeaways or recommendations that you would have for people who are interested in or going to try medicinal mushrooms?
First of all, just read about them. There's a lot of materials on Google, and there are a lot of studies. You can take a look about them, and you can find specific needs. Maybe you have problems with immunity, maybe you're sick often, or maybe you have some kind of digestive issues. One thing I didn't mention before is that chaga is really good against digestive problems. Um, and yeah, just learn about them and see which one would work best for you. Um, one definite recommendation is to always buy a pure mushroom extract. Even if you don't buy Nutriantes, then we believe that a pure extract is the best because of the bioavailability. If you take dried mushrooms, then mushroom cell walls are made out of chitin, which is one of the strongest organic materials you can find in nature. And if we eat it, then our bodies are not able to break it down to access the beneficial compounds. So that's one of the recommendations. And when you start taking mushroom extracts, then start with a really low amount. There are some people who we don't recommend taking mushroom extracts. For example, pregnant and breastfeeding women. It doesn't mean that it would do anything bad, but nobody wants to take any risks when it comes to young life. And there are no studies made with pregnant women, so nobody knows actually what it does. Also, when you take prescription medication, then we recommend talking to your physician before, especially people who take blood thinning medications, because they have a bit antagonistic properties. It means they might do the opposite, so the body might get confused. Yeah. But lion's mane mushroom is also really good for dogs. If you have a dog, then you can give it to him or her. um, and I don't know about cats. I wouldn't recommend giving it to a cat, but many dogs have benefited from mushroom extracts.
How does it benefit the dogs? I'm very interested because Jasmine has a dog. You can kind of see him bopping around there, but I have a dog as well. Does it work the same way, like with cognitive abilities and things like that?
Yeah, the effects are really similar, especially when they have some kind of chronic disease or just overall their health is not that great, then mushroom extracts can give the extra boost.
Interesting. And how would you recommend giving it to them?
I would just mix it with their food.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I kind of want to try this with Milo. I'm just gonna see what happens.
How much do you
That's so interesting.
giving them in like as one serving?
Yeah, you can do that, or you can just add it to 2 meals a day.
And would you give them the same amount as like I would take, or would you start with smaller amounts since?
I would start with smaller amounts.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe about half of what you would take yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Well, I have a couple experiments to work with lion's mane now. Thank you for that.
And I remember that you were asking about the recipes.
Yeah.
And with lion's mane, I like to put it in a dark chocolate. I have a 4-ingredient dark chocolate recipe, and I just recently scheduled it to Instagram. It should appear soon. So if you want to find out about that, then it can be really cool. Because both cacao and lion's mane are beneficial for a brain, so this chocolate would be the perfect combination.
Oh my gosh, my mind is blown. One, I love chocolate. That's amazing. And you can use that. Oh, maybe I can give it to my mom that way. Because she's very like taste sensitive. She's like, I don't want to try that. But maybe if I put it with some chocolate, she might be into it.
Oh my goodness, I'm learning so much. Wow.
All right, I'm gonna have to look that up. And once it's up, I'm gonna share that because I think almost everybody loves chocolate. So
Yeah.
Why not have a little bit of chocolate with your vitamins? I mean, that's incredible.
And there's a
Yeah,
little,
in the original recipe, there's no sugar, but if you prefer something sweeter, then you can add something sweet or brown sugar or whatever you would like.
Sweet. All right. Well, all right. That's 3 experiments that I'm gonna try now. If you have anything else, message me because I love this stuff. So Kris, where can everyone find you? Where can we get your products?
You can find us on Amazon. We have lion's mane available there. If you type in Nutriante or lion's mane extract, you will see we have a brightly colored orange package, and it's pretty much in the first rows. Then it should not be a problem to find it. We have an Instagram page. If you type in Nutriante, you can find us. We also have a website, nutriante.com. You can send us an email or message us on Instagram. We check messages often, and if something is unclear, you want to know more, then you're welcome to make contact with us. But we're actually having a small problem that the demand is quite high for lion's mane extract, and we might run out of stock.
Oh no. I mean, I guess in retrospect that's good because more people are becoming aware and trying to heal. So
well, I just ordered it and it'll be here November 22nd.
You made it.
I made it. I was like, let me do it right now.
I think we can probably make it past Black Friday, but I'm not sure about after that. We have more stock coming in, but I'm not sure how quickly it can reach the warehouses and how quickly it will be available for sale, but we will do our best.
perfect. All right. So everyone out there who's listening, if it's not in stock for some reason, be patient. You'll get it, and it's going to work magic. And then, follow them on Instagram, their website. Look for those new products because I know that I'm going to be looking. I'm super excited to see what else you guys have in store for us. And we'll put all that information again in the show notes. You can just click the link and then follow and order and everything like that. But thank you so much, Kris, for joining us, for sharing this amazing insight, for these awesome ideas. I seriously cannot thank you enough for everything.
Likewise. Thank you. I've learned so much today. Wow. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Jasmine and Michaela. I'm really grateful for having the opportunity to talk with you about the topic that I'm really passionate about. And I really appreciate the work that you do. The world needs more people like you.
Thank you. Likewise. That's why we're here.